Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the world wants you to give up. Sometimes the powerful people try to make you do what they want, with pressure, with control, with scary things. But real strength is not in giving up. It is in standing up tall, not shaken, not bothered, and not scared. Real strength is in standing up tall because life always gives us hard things where the easy choice is to give in, to give up, or to take the easy way out. But real greatness is in choosing the harder way, the path that needs courage and strong beliefs. To stand tall means to stay strong even when the winds of pressure, mean words, or scary things blow the hardest. It is not about how tall you are, but about being strong inside, the kind of strength that cannot be measured by jobs, things you own, or power, but by the ability to keep your good values and beliefs when others might throw them away. History has shown us that those who stand tall in hard times, those who choose to stay rooted in doing right rather than being moved by fear, are the ones who leave a mark that lasts longer than their life. Standing tall takes practice because every person is tested by things that tempt them to give up, whether it be in government, work, or personal life. And it takes a strong spirit to say no when the world is asking for a yes. Real strength does not come from being mean, controlling others, or being loud, but from the calm confidence of someone who knows what is right and won't back down. It is the ability to walk through storms without getting lost, to face scary things without giving up dignity, and to accept that respect is earned not by giving up, but by being tough. When a country or a person chooses to stand tall, they send a message to the world. Modi's bold refusal explained that their values cannot be traded, that their spirit cannot be broken, and that their worth cannot be decided by outside people. Such strength often makes others feel brave because when one person shows courage, it wakes up courage in those who are watching, quietly, waiting for someone to show them that fighting back is possible. In life, people often think giving up is smart. But real wisdom is in knowing when giving up makes the soul weak and when it takes away self-respect. Standing tall does not mean being mean or stubborn. It means knowing the line that must not be crossed. Knowing that dignity costs more than being comfortable. When leaders stand tall, they lift up entire countries. When people stand tall, they set an example for kids to come. And when societies stand tall, they change the balance of power across the world. Real strength is not about not having fear, but facing it without backing down. Not about having no challenges, but about meeting challenges with never giving up determination. It is saying that no matter how heavy the load or how strong the people against you, the human spirit is greater when it refuses to bow down. And it is this refusal to bend that turns ordinary moments into amazing milestones. India did not bend because at the heart of its decisions is the belief that being your own boss is not a gift given by others, but a right earned through hundreds of years of fighting, giving up things, and being tough. Throughout history, India has been faced with pressure from stronger countries, empires, and world powers that tried to tell it what to do. But every time it has shown that its spirit cannot be broken. To say India did not bend means it chose the road of self-respect over giving up. A road that is often harder, but one that makes sure dignity stays whole. When powerful countries try to change rules through phone calls, demands, or scary threats. It might seem tempting to give in for short-time comfort. But India's decision to say no to such pressure is saying that it answers only to its people and not to the orders of foreign powers. This refusal carries a deeper meaning. It shows that a country that once struggled under the weight of being controlled now refuses to be chained again in the name of partnerships or dependencies. By not bending, India reminded the world that real power is in independence of thinking and acting, not in blind obedience. Such moments send waves far beyond politics. They make citizens global. Shockwaves, after the call, believe in their country's strength and send a message to the world stage that India is a country of equals, not followers. Standing firm is never easy because it often comes with risks of punishments, mean words, or strained friendships. But a country that puts what's right above pressure builds long-term respect. India's refusal to bend is not being mean, but being clear. Clear that its rules will be guided by what helps its people and not by what makes others happy. This choice echoes the voices of leaders and freedom fighters who once said that India's future would never again be written by outsiders. The refusal becomes an act of courage, a statement of who we are, and a promise to future kids that giving up will never come at the cost of dignity. In a world where smaller countries are often forced or tricked, India's stand sets an example that strength comes from within and that money, military, or political pressure cannot bend a country with an unbreakable will. India did not bend because it knows that to bend once is to set a pattern for bending again. But to fight back once is to set the standard for standing strong in every hard time ahead. It is this determination that defines the country's journey today, a journey where power is not measured by giving up to outside voices, but by the ability to speak firmly in its own voice. When India did not bend, it told every citizen and every watcher across the world that dignity is greater than convenience, that independence is greater than temporary gain, and that a country rooted in self-respect will always choose the harder road if it means walking it with head held high. This is about dignity and self-respect. Because without these two pillars, no person or country can truly stand free or get real respect from others. Dignity is not something that can be given by outsiders. It is something that is protected, kept safe, and held up by choices and actions. Self-respect is the inner voice that reminds us that no matter how great the reward or how heavy the threat, if we give up our beliefs, we lose the very heart of who we are. When a country faces pressure to act against its own good things and refuses, it is not just making a political decision, but saying that its identity is not for sale. Dignity means having the courage to say no, even when saying yes would be leadership defined by courage easier, because the price of giving up would be too costly for the soul of the people. Self-respect is the foundation upon which long-term strength is built, because those who give it up for temporary gain often find themselves weakened, dependent, and not respected in the eyes of the world. For India to fight back against pressure from foreign powers is not just a matter of rules, but a matter of what's right, one that tells its citizens that their country values their pride and independence more than any outside approval. This is why moments of refusal become historic, because they show that a country puts doing right above convenience. Dignity and self-respect are deeply connected, for without one, the other cannot survive. A person or a country stripped of dignity becomes weak, and a person or country that loses self-respect becomes obedient to those who seek control. Both require strength, clarity, and a deep sense of responsibility to past generations who fought for freedom and to future generations who must inherit that freedom. When a leader stands firm under pressure, it is not only about strategy. It is a moral statement that values cannot be traded. Dignity means refusing to be treated as less than an equal, and self-respect means refusing to treat yourself as less than worthy. Together, they form the armor that protects independence, identity, and pride. When India declares through its actions that this is about dignity and self-respect, it is reminding the world of its long fight against being controlled, where millions gave up everything so that the country could one day stand tall and answer only to itself. It is also a reminder to its people that they are not a weak or follower state, but a rising power whose choices must come from within, not from the orders of others. Every time dignity is defended, respect grows stronger both at home and around the world, because the world recognizes courage, even when it may not agree with the decision. Self-respect also makes people come together, because people support a country that values its pride more than temporary advantage. This is why such moments matter deeply, for they make stronger that dignity is priceless and self-respect is non-negotiable, and any path chosen without them would only lead to dependence and dishonor. Greatness comes from courage, because it is courage that allows people and countries to step beyond fear and face challenges that others would run away from. Without courage, talent stays hidden. Strength stays unused and potential stays unfulfilled. Courage is the spark that lights up greatness, for it is the decision to act in spite of not knowing, to move forward even when the path is filled with problems. Every person who has ever achieved something amazing, every country that has ever risen above hard times has done so because of courage. It is easy to follow the crowd, rejecting pressure and blackmail to obey the powerful or to give up when threatened. But greatness is born when one has the heart to stand alone and say, "This is my truth. This is my path, and I will not give it up." Courage is not having no fear. It is the ability to act while fear is there. It is the voice that says, "I will not surrender, even when the odds are against me." Greatness is not given. It is earned through acts of courage that make people respect you, change the course of history, and lift up those who see it. For countries, courage means defending being your own boss against outside pressure, refusing to bow to threats, and making decisions that put people's dignity over political convenience. For people, courage means standing up for what is right, protecting one's integrity, and choosing being real over approval. Courage is what turns ordinary men and women into leaders, and ordinary moments into defining chapters of history. Greatness cannot exist without risk, because every great act requires stepping into the unknown, and it is courage that allows one to take that step. It is the courage of freedom fighters that freed countries, the courage of inventors that changed industries, the courage of leaders that shifted the balance of power, and the courage of people who believed in themselves when the world doubted them. Courage is the foundation of toughness, because only the brave can handle setbacks and rise again stronger. It builds character, teaches patience, and gives clarity about what truly matters. When one looks at history, the names remembered are those who had the courage to disobey, to resist, to create, and to dream. Greatness is not measured by money, land, or influence alone, but by the courage that drives a person or a country to stand firm in their beliefs and values. Every breakthrough in human progress has been an act of courage, and every milestone in a country's journey has been secured by those who dared when others hesitated. To be courageous is to be free, because it means refusing to be controlled by fear, pressure, or scary things. And only the free can achieve greatness, because they live and act with dignity, vision, and strength. That is why greatness comes not from comfort or giving up, but from the unshakable courage to rise, to resist, and to act with never-changing conviction in the face of hard times. A country's destiny lies in its own hands, because no outside power, no matter how influential or controlling, can truly decide the long-term future of a people, a new era of Indian independence, unless that country itself allows it. History has shown that countries which relied only on others for direction or survival eventually lost their identity in being their own boss, while those that charted their own course, even at great cost, built legacies of strength and independence. When we say a country's destiny lies in its own hands, it is a reminder that the choices made within its borders, the vision carried by its leaders, and the unity of its people determine whether it will rise or fall. Outside forces may try to shape influence or pressure, but ultimately it is the internal will that defines the outcome. A country that looks outward for approval risks becoming dependent, but one that looks inward for courage becomes unshakable. It is not foreign help, partnerships, or approvals that build greatness. It is self-reliance, innovation, and the determination of citizens to create their own future. Destiny is not a gift handed down by stronger countries. It is the reward earned by those who take ownership of their struggles and victories alike. For India, this truth has been proven again and again, from the long years of being controlled to the hard-won freedom that came through the sacrifices of millions. That freedom was not granted by charity. It was taken by courage and persistence. The same rule applies today as India faces pressure from world powers, but continues to assert that its path will be written by its own hand. A country that shapes its destiny takes responsibility for its failures as well as its successes, because true independence means not only celebrating achievements, but also owning mistakes and learning from them. When leaders make decisions with the mindset that destiny lies in their own hands, they put being their own boss over obedience and long-term stability over short-term gain. When people believe that their country's future is in their control, they invest in its growth, defend its honor, and contribute to its progress with pride. This belief creates toughness because a country that relies on itself is harder to break, harder to trick, and harder to defeat. The destiny of a country is like a seed. It will grow only if taken care of by the soil of self-respect, watered with the efforts of its people and protected from outside weeds that try to take over. Each generation inherits the responsibility to guard this destiny, not to surrender it for comfort or convenience. A country's destiny lies in its own hands because no treaty, no alliance, no outside partnership can replace the power of a people united in purpose. It is this self-belief that turns challenges into lessons for personal growth opportunities and trials into triumphs, ensuring that the course of history is written not by those who give orders from far away, but by those who dare to take ownership of their own future. This moment is a declaration of independence in the modern age because it reflects the timeless truth that freedom is not won once and for all, but must be defended and reaffirmed in every generation. Hundreds of years ago, independence meant breaking the chains of being controlled, kicking out foreign rulers, and claiming the right to govern yourself. Today, independence has taken a different shape. It is not always about physical occupation, but about resisting economic, political, and strategic pressure designed to control a country's choices. When India refuses to bend under the weight of outside demands, it is declaring to the world that its being its own boss cannot be bought, bullied, or blackmailed. This moment symbolizes a modern struggle for independence, not against armies and empires, but against invisible chains of influence where powerful countries attempt to shape policies and decisions through pressure tactics. The act of refusal is powerful because it says that independence is not just a chapter in history books. It is a living, breathing reality that must guide every choice a country makes. In the modern age, independence is about protecting one's economy from being used, safeguarding one's technology from dependency, and ensuring that security decisions are made for the benefit of citizens rather than for the comfort of outsiders. It is also about cultural independence, the right to preserve one's traditions, values, and way of life without giving in to sameness by world powers. A declaration of independence in today's world does not come with fireworks or grand ceremonies. It comes through quiet acts of resistance, firm refusals, and bold statements that a country's dignity is not negotiable. This moment matters because it reminds the world that freedom cannot be reduced to symbols. It must be lived daily through actions that uphold self-respect. By rejecting outside blackmail, India's final message of strength is telling every citizen that the sacrifices of past generations will not be betrayed and the hard-won freedom will not be compromised. It is declaring to the world stage that independence is not a relic of the past, but the guiding force of the present. In a world where smaller countries are often forced into giving up by economic or military might, such moments of defiance serve as an example that even in the modern age, courage can rewrite the balance of power. This declaration is not only about one decision, but about setting a tone for the future, establishing that India will not accept being treated as a follower, but will claim its rightful place as a leader. It reaffirms that being your own boss is not symbolic. It is practical, it is real, and it will be defended against all forms of pressure. A declaration of independence in the modern age is louder than speeches and stronger than agreements. It is the simple yet powerful act of saying no when others expect yes, and of choosing what's right over convenience. This moment proves that independence is not a destination reached long ago. It is a journey that must be continued with watching carefully, courage, and never-changing determination.